Hey there, Speed Gaming. Great. I'm Aussie. I'll be on commentary tonight. And then we have Raylan on tracking. And still sorting out Diomethus. But we have a SMZ3 hard logic race today. So this will be exciting. Everyone likes to see the hard logic tricks that come with SM. So we're going to have Nito versus Aikir, both seasoned runners. Nito bringing just a color modded suit. Aikir with vanilla suit. That's always the first thing we check in these races, is the sprite choices. And here we have Nito with the ninja sprite on the Link to the Past side. And yeah, we have Aikir going down to the morph location, which is not a typical start, but it is a check that you can do. It's fine. And if there's nothing here, you just reset and lose a minute. It sounds like I'm joined by my co-com, Diomethus. Or how is that pronounced? I'll give him some more time to set up. What is Nito up to? Anyway, Nito's going for the uncle start. Well, hey.
Sorry, I forgot to set up.
All right, I'll keep going. So Nito's starting with uncle start, which is how I like starting, because it gives you more chances at resources early on. It has some on-path tree poles, and tree poles are a good way to get early resources. So tree poles are they're when you see them pull on the trees when items pop out, and you set those up by killing enemies. So killing that one guard there is going to set up a tier 1 tree pole. And there's specific trees around this one on the Bizblobs screen, and you take intentional hit to get a tier 2 instead of a tier 3. And then the trip up to the lumberjack check I find to be just a very safe way to start a seed, because it gives you the full chances of resources with the bush crabs and all the tree poles. And I keep doing.
Difficulty's fun.
Okay, are you good now?
I think so.
Got it sorted? Great. So a bit of excitement in the closet. Yeah, lamp is big. Gonna help right away with Eastern, but also power bombs is a good thing to track.
Glove for mountain though, still right?
That's right. Yeah, so lamp early on. I actually find the escape checks is how I treat the lamp as a progression item at this stage.
Yeah, that's a good set of checks.
So the first chest in the escape, like from the front, is the only one that's normally in logic. But when you have access to the back, then the Zelda cell chests become in logic, and also the Dark Cross. And so I treat lamp as a progression item in that area. It just helps elsewhere.
Here comes Blind's Hut.
Yep, Blind's Hut is many quick items, very dense area, or power bombs. So they'll be set for power bombs early on. So Eastern is a place that you're trying to skip early on, if you can. Or, you know, if you get a bow early. But you can have the progression, can be required.
I figure it's easy enough to get at least some of these checks if you're already down here in the area for Sahasrara.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Sahasrara is good item density. Eastern's close by, and in SMZ3 it's not as common to skip Eastern. There's our first sword.
In general, SMZ3 is so open that there are a few places you don't just full clear when you have the capability, and it's right there.
We're into the chicken hut. Are we getting a chicken clip? Sadly, no. Yeah, keep an eye out for
There's a bottle,
the
nice
swag
for
trash.
the bottle kid. Don't have to come back for that.
Yeah, that's perfect placement for that. So one reason to not do Kakariko right away is looking for a bottle. And having a bottle right there.
Ooh, and that's the glove.
Good.
That's very nice.
Yeah. So glove, that's going to be mountain access with the lamp, as you were saying before. It's also a back of escape, and Zora. King Zora. So this will be our last check in Eastern.
Just a
Just
rupee.
a bit of money.
Well, 20 rupees, but... Blind check on the race game. Let's see what it is. Just money. 50 isn't bad, though.
Yeah, so we're seeing Akir continue with the avoiding Kakariko. So a little unfortunate not having the sword. That's the thing that'll help with these South Late World checks. And then Nito doesn't know about the lamp yet, so it doesn't have that progression indicator mountain. But all this is still standard play. Standard early game routing is you clear out these areas.
And a very nice morph ball in the back of Escape. Along with a few power bombs, just blows Super Metroid right open.
Yeah, they've been good on power bombs so far. I haven't noticed any supers yet. That's the other thing to keep track of early on.
I think I saw at least one.
This is a Houlihan. This is a Houlihan setup.
He might be grabbing money for Zora since he's in Logic so early.
Yeah, that seems to be the idea. Mini Moldarm is always
Don't let that
good
distract
to...
you from the hammer in Mini Moldorm, though.
Oh yeah, it's hammer and a glove. So setting up for Dark World.
Dark World access, yep.
Yeah, I expect Nito to come down to Mini Moldorm, and then I guess Fake Flipper up to Zora from there, and just planning well ahead.
Yeah, that's a solid route.
And then Akira has been managing their bombs really well, so hasn't really missed the not having a sword.
And Ice Rod Cave is just a reserve tank.
Yeah, early health is really nice for Super Metroid. Like the early health is the most valuable.
Yep.
But even reserves.
And if we get a few more E-tanks, that can put some hell runs in logic, because this is hard.
Yep. And I think we got a spring ball. And that would be our upper Norfair access.
Here
Okay,
comes
so now-
Aussie's mini Moldorm Cave. A lot of retreading because they took opposite paths somewhat.
That's right. Like all of the early Light World stuff, you're gonna want to do in the seed. Like the places you can try to skip is going to be escape and Eastern you try to do later, but you're still going to do it. So it's not surprising to see them make these checks. They're just doing it in different order, trying to get different advantages. Yeah, I think I saw supers right there, so they have enough ammo to do whatever they want in Super Metroid. Uh-oh. Took hit from battle crabs. That heart is not enough protection, because we're expecting Nito to walk back out of Ice Rod Cave for Zora.
Yeah, those crabs are deceptively tough. 2 hearts on green mail and faster than you realize.
Yeah, they go slow and then suddenly speed up. They got some moves.
It's actually just their horizontal speed, but you don't realize it until they've hit you, until you're used to it.
Okay, so that's a great fake flipper from Nito.
Perfect fake flipper, yep.
Yeah, he got beyond like the very last pixel before the transition when he jumped in the water for that. So well done. He's probably using the sword out to move at a slower speed. Normally you're moving 2 pixels to the left at a time, but with sword out it's 1 pixel. And then there's a nice setup for the fake flipper leaving the old man. Move down.
Akir has his sword now from the well.
Yeah, so they have 2 good weapons now, the sword and the hammer. A hammer is very powerful for when they need to really
as
kill
much
things.
damage as the tempered sword, but a short range, high risk, high reward. But these runners know how to handle themselves with it.
Now this Zora check that Nito's doing, there's a lot of investment in making this play. So he's gonna hope that this pays off.
Yeah, it's a little more windy getting to him without flippers, and also knowing that the ledge is just a piece of heart makes it all for Zora himself.
Yeah, like he took a full minute to get the money, and then a chunk of time getting back from Ice Rod Cave.
And
it's
it's
just
just
for missile
missiles. That's how it is sometimes.
Oh, and we're not seeing Super Metroid right away, so it wants to do more. Sahasrahla is still a good 3 items, but he does have that morph ball and so many checks open through that. And this will be Ikir getting their morph ball in back of escape. And then we'll see which decisions each of them make. Because at this point, they've cleaned up the early game, like the start of the game, and they can start making decisions.
Yeah, I expect to see a lot of Super Metroid very shortly. But who knows, maybe they'll just walk in, get the Titan's mitts, and have a whole lot of Dark World to do instead.
So that's Nito resetting to the ship. There's a built-in soft reset button combination, so you don't have to reset your console, or emulator in this case. And if you do that, it takes you to your last Super Metroid save, which is the ship, if you've transitioned. Okay, 45, 10, and 10 is the ammo. 2 E-tanks and a reserve. Pretty solid resources.
If you reset from A Link to the Past, I think it's always the ship.
Yes.
What I say, walk in and find the Titan's mitts.
Got the seed figured out.
But I'm sure he'll check for at least a bit more, since there is plenty. There's Terminator, there's Morph Bombs, or the Bomb Torizo.
Yeah, one nice little loop you can do here is like these top of parlor checks into Gauntlet and then Terminator, and then you
Retro
can just
Bryn
bail there
clean
or
up.
go to Green Bryn. Okay, so this looks like he's going to the ship, and
Could
I'd
be headed
expect to
towards the wreck ship.
It's either wreck ship or Gauntlet from here. Wreck ship, you're only worried about it being a pendant. With how the boss rewards are shuffled, you don't want to have to do pendant wreck ship.
Yeah, because you want to kill Fantoon to access wreck ship anyway.
Yeah, there's not much worth to going to wreck ship if you don't fight the boss. But we're gonna see Gauntlet here. We're in hard logic, so these wall jumps are in logic, and with 10 power bombs, that's enough to get all the way through. And meanwhile, Akir is going to the upper Norfair portal.
A book on the ledge, so that will be access to Desert Palace if we don't get the mirror soon.
It's always good to know your Desert Palace access. That's an easy one to forget. But we found the book. Can't get that right now, but know where it is for later. You're really having a hard time with this
and
wall
some
jump.
more power bombs over in the high jump area.
Okay, so these wall jumps Nito's doing, you want to have some delay on your jump. Like you don't jump as soon as you're away from the wall, you gotta wait like 5 or 6 frames to get better angling around the corner.
And he gets it. They are tougher than you realize without high jump.
Yeah, we did see Nito practicing those jumps before the race. I'm not sure he's too happy with how long that took. But coming this way does make for efficient routing. You have the Gauntlet E-Tank item, which is X-Ray, and then plus 2 more items in the back.
Ooh, X-Ray could make things interesting. Every run, I always hope for microwave beam. It almost never happens, but when it does, it's very nice.
Yeah, it really is. It's good value. good resource savings. And a bug net. Don't see the bug net used too often.
Super missiles at the end of Gauntlet. We always take super missiles. I would anyway.
Yeah, super missiles are worth picking up pretty much till like 60 or 70. They're always good, and no fanfares means you don't even want to skip items. Supers are great in this.
Akir is coming up on Kraid.
Yep, so
So
Kraid
that'll be our
is
first boss of the run.
It's gonna be a blind check, I believe. But there's 3 items over here, and they're kind of fast. So it's
If you can
common
get the
to
quick kill,
always
especially,
kill Kraid.
it's not really a time loss, or hardly a time loss to kill Kraid.
Yeah, difference between quick kill and not is about 20 seconds. So definitely want to get it.
2 heart containers behind early supers.
Yeah, picking up
Some
some nice
good link to the
safeties
past
for
health.
the past now. It's getting a nice mix of items. Make their playthrough comfy.
Easy quick kill. Very nice to see.
Yeah, that was the charge beam setup, but without charge.
Well, I say easy. He makes it look easy. But just some rupees on the Varia check.
So Nita's going to be farming power bombs over here. It's going to take a lot to do all the Brinstar checks. And what's nice about this route is these B-Toms are on the way, and they're guaranteed power bomb drops. This will be our last Kraid item.
And Kraid tank is more rupees.
Yep, just some more money. So the interesting thing about Akira's route is for Red Tower, they're going to have to spring ball jump up, off of a wall jump. If they want to continue that way. But I expect they do.
Ooh, but the Moon Pearl on Edikuns, that's, you love to see that. That's the rest of Dark World access.
Yeah, so that's a ton of game open. It's Mitts and Hammer for Dark World to do almost anything. And they've only just begun on Super Metroid. Overall, that makes for efficient playthrough. One way that seeds go long is if you don't have like the items that let you full clear areas.
Yeah, like when you have too much backtracking, things take a while, but when you don't,
And we're getting some heat runs over on Akira's side. These are the ice beam checks. Crumble Tower. Took a save before this. Oh, it's a high jump boot. That's a good item.
Spazer, that's good to see early. If it were late into the game, it would not be as fun because you already have most of the damage you're going to. But right now, it's a good both damage and utility increase.
So we're seeing Nito powerbomb the ceiling here. That's going to open up the Spore Spawn Super's bomb blocks. And we also had Akir reset those high jump boots instead of picking them. One trick for picking up with spring ball is that you can spring ball bounce on the crumbles, and that makes getting up a lot easier. But sticking to Link to the Past.
Ooh, have magic, another nice utility item, comfy item.
Yeah, especially the start of a seed, your magic is a concern. So it's nice to find that. This farm is power bombs, I would guess. These bugs have a 2% chance of power bombs, I think, but he's doing it 2 at a time, really. There's 3 pipes. And you want 8 power bombs for all the retro Brinstar checks.
Akir has returned to A Link to the Past and appears to be doing the front of Hyrule Castle.
Yep, Castle's putting logic early on between Glove and Lamp. So they're fine checks to do, it's just the Super Metroid checks are a little better. You get those checks faster.
Yeah, with how open SM is at the moment, it seems strange in my opinion. But we'll see if it pays off for him.
Like, did find an E-Tank, so that's some value. That's going to get more use, and it's better to have that item early than later on.
There was another one on the uncle.
Yeah, Kira's already thinking about hill runs, so maybe even more now. I think he's up to 5 total, and that puts the upper North Aaron logic.
Yeah, 5 is pretty good for hell runs. Is that 5 with or without the reserve tank?
For Akira, it was with the reserve. But between the two of them, we've seen more than that. Just E-Tanks. And logically, it's combined. Regular E-Tanks plus reserves.
Right.
It looks like a nice strat from Nito to just roll under the hoppers. Hoppers are normalized movement, so
The single arrow
that works
on
every
Morph
time.
Ball. Always amusing to see.
The arrow of destiny.
Ooh, and the hook shot on alpha missiles.
Yeah, that opens up Dark World even more. Can really do anything
Metroid
at all
is
now.
full of Zelda items today.
Yeah.
Which
This
I
route
like. It
really
makes for an
working out.
interesting seed. Ooh, screw attack.
So when I do
Screw
Nito's
attack is-
route, I actually don't do the Parlor check right away, and that takes another power bomb. So I think I like how he's routing this. I think it's saving a power bomb over what I would do. And then screw attack is gonna eliminate all bomb problems. An excellent item to find early.
Yeah, and especially with little power behind your beams, screw attack is a ton of attacking power. Not just movement utility.
Yeah, from here on, Spazer doesn't kill enemies that fast. It's gonna take multiple shots. And then missiles would be limited resource. But then you have Screw Attack, which is always good and always deadly.
Another full heart container.
It's just overall the seed's been pretty friendly. Could do with more movement items, but plenty safe. They got good weapons, good accessibility to zones. So pretty nice seed.
And a return to A Link to the Past. Can't say I blame Nito with all those items.
Right, to continue
Though
on
perhaps
Super
it should
Metroid
be
would
noted
be...
that he did not go for Kraid. He did leave that behind.
Right. I'm fine leaving Kraid behind. It just doesn't route super well. And maybe you look for a movement item first to have things like X-ray route better.
We have a map check. Ridley on Turtle Rock, Desert Palace, and Ice Palace are both Super Metroid.
There it is. Right. Hype Cave time. Let's see what we have in Hype Cave. Easy 5 items, 4 chests, and a friendly NPC.
Ooh, the Fire Rod. That is pretty hype, especially now that we know that both Ice Palace and Turtle Rock are hard required.
Yes, but it's Pendant Skull Woods. So seeing it this early could make you want to go there, except it's a pendant. But overall, great item to have. And this seems to be a pyramid ledge up to catfish play. So just not leaving anything behind. It seems to be Nito's style. Like here, going a little more unorthodox routing.
Alright, the rest of that map check was Swamp has the green pendant, and a 5/6 crystal is on Misery Mire, while Thieves Town has a regular crystal.
Right, so the settings today are 774 hard and fast Ganon. So fast Ganon means we don't need to do Aga Tower. 774 means they still need the 7 crystals and the 4 Metroid boss tokens. And in this randomizer, Metroid boss tokens and the crystals and the pendants are going to be shuffled among all the bosses in both games. And that's the 4 major bosses for Super Metroid, and all the dungeon bosses for Link to the Past. So it's important to get info/intel on which bosses you need to kill, because killing a boss you don't need to is just a time loss.
Ooh, and
How
there's
about
Varia's
that?
suit.
And Nino making a lot of right plays in the seed. Very easy to put off catfish until never.
I see catfish so late, so often. If ever. Sometimes he's just skipped, but that's usually when the seeds are pretty fast and you just get all the required items pretty early.
Another time that catfish could be skipped is if you're playing a hard steed and it's a Varia suit, and you try to do hull runs. So Nito's going to be saving time over the opponents in this race who put off catfish just by having that Varia suit this early on. So hitting that gate on Akir's side, you have to be pixel aligned with the wall. And so runners do that by just inching a pixel forward at a time as they jump and shoot. You can also like stand with your back against the ground wall, like the lower wall, and just turn around into the door and then turn back around. And that'll also put you on the right pixel. But this Sprint Star routing is very common to see. Green to pink to blue. And it's working out really well in this seed. It also looks to me like Akir found another power bomb pack at some point. And that's going to help with this routing. This doesn't have to stop and farm like Nito did. And doing the same roll-in strat.
It appears we'll be seeing East Death Mountain, a very populated area from Nito. Paradox Cave in particular.
Yeah, Light and Dark Mountain. When you have all the items, there's so many chests here. Plus, since they do have the items, that means this is in logic to do right now, and that could be
Ooh, and the Cane of Samaria.
It's more progression. Five more chests here. Gravity
suit. Is this even hard mode?
I don't know. It's both suits. Bombs, heart piece, power bombs. Except for power bombs now. Shouldn't have to worry about bombs ever again.
Some normal runners would kill for a seed like this.
Yeah, at this point, there's not many more hard tricks that could be required. And that would make it just like a normal seed. Of course. We do need to keep an eye on Ikir, because that various suit location isn't free. And they do have the health for hell runs. Missile pack. Oh, we're getting a climb supers check.
This one is always rough because in the middle of the climb, sometimes you can't tell if you're going up or down.
Yeah, that's true. It's easy to get disoriented on this. Just
Just
arrows.
some arrows.
But knows that he doesn't have to come back here later. It can be like significant to have that information, but not this time. Actually, on fast seeds, it's probably more important if that were something big. Just with how much of the game is open, it'd take longer to get back here. Okay, so that was Super Bunny. Now we're gonna get a Turtle Rock Medallion check. To Bombos. And into Hookshot Cave. Right, we have the cape, don't we?
Ooh, the flippers. That's our swamp access. Nope, we still need mirror.
Not quite. Yeah,
Closing
cape and
in on
half
it, though.
magic would be enough for Spike Cave. Deciding against it.
Interesting. I would have expected him to go for it.
Sometime soon, we need to look at what they need for go mode.
Aside from
Uh,
having his magic full, Akir does have all those items as well, and is also approaching or in East Death Mountain. So maybe he'll get some fill of magic fill or something, and he'll check it. Who knows?
I see what Nito's doing here. This is a Hera play. And then Spike Cave afterwards. So saving a little bit of movement, crossing that bridge.
One of the items in particular to be on the lookout for is Ice Rod. It's one of those items that could be anywhere, and who knows? I've seen Ice Rod hunts all too often.
Ice Rod would be a big relief when they find it, because they do need to beat Turtle Rock. Medallions can similarly be hidden like that.
Who wants to bet it's going to be on one of the tablets?
We have seen the book. Let's see. Yeah, I'm not sure what logic says about the book right now. But Spring Ball and High Jump and Varia would be enough.
Setting up for the Hera pot.
We have an older method now. A newer way is to walk into the explosion. And you have to be less precise with your pixels.
Just the compass, but we can't get the big chest yet because we haven't seen Big Key, I think.
Yeah, surely not. Small key in the basement. So we may be seeing a Hera basement. Or maybe not.
It could be on Moldorm, though.
Yeah, Moldorm will let us know. Oh. Good fight.
Very clean fight. I was expecting a bit more troll.
Almost got bounced at the end. And that's the item too.
Yep, that's both Hera items, so we don't need to check the basement.
Then Akir is in Hera on this trip. Nita went to Dark World and that locked him out of Hera and had to reset. But Akira walked over and is going to walk back for Dark Death Mountain later.
And here comes the Spike Cave we were expecting earlier.
Yep.
Plenty of health, half magic, cape, hook shot. Nice and easy. About as easy as you could get for Spike Cave. And it's the final shield.
We got the shiny shield. Oh, we got some bug net use. 2 fairies. Bottles came pre-emptied, so just put those fairies right in.
A little strange in my opinion. The seed feels plenty safe without them.
Yeah, there's still times where you'd want a death warp, and fairies could get in the way of that. it is more options. That looks like the powerbomb pack that Akir had at high jump that Nito did not.
Nito using X-ray to check the item so he doesn't have to go over to it.
Saves a little bit of time. Always looking to save little bits of time because that adds up.
A second saved is a second earned.
Exactly. So we are seeing Nito decide to go into Upper Norfair instead of stay in Link to the Past. And we also know he's going to run into high jump, and that could guide him towards Lower Norfair, potentially. But we could get big route divergence if Akir stays in Link to the Past, since they do have all the main Dark World open still. Which would really be the Village of Outcasts area. And Ice Palace was another place that looked like a good place to visit. And then Nito showing off you can jump off the side of crumble blocks. So you don't have to worry about them breaking if you jump off the side. And I don't think Akir made it to the Ice Beam location.
I don't think so.
But high jump
Spring
is...
ball making that much easier though. More importantly, faster. Just some money.
Yeah, spring ball combined with the high jump. Akir knows about the high jump, so I'm expecting to go back. With or without Varia, it's a really good item to have.
Spring ball is one of those items that you often forget you even have in Rando because it's so often that you don't have it. Both in Rando and in the base game.
I feel like it's more part of the progression in SMZ3. Spring ball jumps are on my mind a lot when playing hard seeds.
Yeah, it'll be in logic and hard seeds, so you'll see it more often there.
Yeah. It's unfortunate that it's not in logic for anything in normal. Tried and true roll under strats.
Spike Cave was only the second shield for Akir.
It's a less mystical cave. So here's also starting at Hype Cave. I feel like in Link to the Past on its own, this is normal routing. To always come to Hype Cave. Maybe. But to me, it indicates that they'll want to go to Catfish. Here.
Nito took a save here in Bubble Mountain. What would that be for? Because I can only think of when you need the safety in while you're doing hell runs.
Yeah, so in terms of safety, I'd be thinking Lava Dive. But this is with high jump and barrier, so that's not too dangerous either.
And gravity.
And gravity. It's like maybe Croc. Just go all the way down to grapple beam and reset. But for that, I think the save would be a little early.
Maybe he plans to reset out of the speed area if it's, but it's bow, so we're not resetting
It's
that.
a bow. That's opening up even more of Link to the Past, but Super Metroid keeps being the answer.
Yeah, this sort of back and forth is what makes combo randomizers so much fun.
So we're seeing Ikea take the Meridia portal, but I don't think went to Catfish, which is typically routed together with this portal transition. Could always take the portal back, go to Catfish from there, but otherwise, I don't know when we'll be getting back to the Catfish check.
Yeah, if you're going to do Dragon and you have Screw Attack, you may as well check Plasma Beam, which makes returning to the portal a little bit out of the way at that point.
Yeah,
But
and so far we've
we're seeing another SM boss.
Yeah, we've seen the bow in Upper Norfair, and Akira might be putting that off without the various suit, because it's less efficient to be doing these hall runs. But we're getting a ammo kill Dracon. So 20 supers or 60 missiles, some combination of the two. You typically want to be near the edge of the screen for the goops so that they come out sooner so you can start doing damage sooner. But that's the fight. Solid fight.
Fairly quick. Quicker than mine.
Yeah, Dragon is a deceptive boss. How much time you can lose there?
Just some arrows behind him, though. The rest of the items are in the wider Meridia. Maybe. Probably.
We've seen another save on Nito's side, which usually means gold Torizo. It doesn't have a great way to farm back supers after gold Torizo, so it doesn't really want to take the fight. Although, could do the fight just to show off the missile manip that I found recently. I doubt we'll see that though.
Just the boomerang, but he's most likely also going to head over to through the portal and check Mire Shed.
He was rolling towards GT and had missiles selected. Got my hopes up. But good fight. Takes about 30 supers, counting ones that are grabbed.
And with Meyer Shed, we'll also be seeing what medallion we need.
Right. That means it can't do Meyer right now. It's a Quake
And it's
medallion.
Quake.
So he's gonna have to leave that behind and hope to find a flute. Just to make the trip back here faster. Ether.
And
Close.
we see the other medallion, which means we'll be seeing all medallions.
Ah. Very nice snail
Akir
clip.
found red mail.
It's pretty much pixel perfect trick. Since Akir hasn't picked up the high jump yet, which makes the snail clip a little easier.
And this save means he's going to be checking the sand pits.
Okay, now's your time for the screw attack CWJ, Nito. Spring ball not related to the CWJ. So he's going to spring ball jump up instead. And is low on supers. Still going to want supers for the Ridley fight, so we might see this room reset a few times.
Ooh, and there's Charge Beam in Meridia.
I haven't seen too many beams yet. Just the Spazer. But still, great chance of finding more by the end of the seed. And like their super count's pretty healthy, so it's not too big a deal.
Yeah, 30 supers and 80 missiles is plenty to kill Ridley. And I think even Mother Brain.
Well, space jump is a nice item to have.
Absolutely.
Might not even need to stop for high jump anymore. Yeah, this front of Meridia area goes pretty slowly when you have no movement items. Space jump speeds it up a great deal. Little moonfall, the crab shaft. Or a screw fall, since they have screw attack. So when you jump away from a wall, even with screw attack, you're going to be vulnerable to damage. Because right the moment you jump away, you're not protected by screw attack. And, you know, ran right into a pirate. Sand pits, hard to pass up. 2 items per pit.
I've seen many a good item, many a go mode item in the sand pits.
And here's that trip up to Plasma. I haven't been following the route too closely through Meridia. This may be the last stop. No grapple for Shack Tool. Could do it with ice, but I typically don't see it done with ice. And they don't have that
And
either.
we don't have it anyway. Fire Fleas was the other boomerang, so the runners can choose, or at least Nito can choose whichever he pleases.
And we already know our pendants are desert, swamp, and Skullwoods. So don't even have to map check to see what boss prize is on Ridley. Worried for his safety.
A little bit, yeah. 4 energy tanks can be a little tough.
It has a lot of really good items for this section of the game. It's really just the energy tanks that are a little low. Very easy to headbutt something you don't want to. Green Ruby and Heart Piece in the other sand pit. So maybe this will be Akira's exit out of Meridia. King.
So was that both sand pits were a bust? I wasn't paying as much attention to them.
Right.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Nito very cleanly taking care of Ridley's pirates. Ridley guards, whatever you call them.
This pipe bug is pretty slow to farm. Okay. Did hit full supers and is going to want to have 30 supers for the Ridley fight. But 80 missiles back up. It's not a risky fight, ammo-wise. Not for someone like Nito.
At least if the drops comply. Took him a minute.
That's a blue cane at the crab supers. Don't need that. Taking a bit of damage. But Ridley's taking more. About halfway through the fight here. You know, because he's halfway through his super missile count. Started at 30. This left side pogo pattern is what you want to see, typically. Because there's a safe spot on the far left of the platform where you can just shoot up the supers directly into Ridley.
Yep.
A nice weave through the tail.
The right side isn't so bad to see, though, because you can easily manipulate it into a left side pattern.
Right. And then if you really want, you can manipulate back to the right and just keep that going forever. But that's a bit much.
And once again, just some rupees for the boss reward.
This is Akira going back for the high jump boots. They are a good item.
Is that 3 for 3 on boss rewards being rupees?
It's possible.
Just an interesting coincidence.
So we need 2 medallions and ice rod, for sure. And then maybe boots. And mirror would only be if it unlocks something else. Plus another sword. And we've been looking for those items since the bow was our last piece of progression. Alright. Desert's pendant even, so it might not need boots. the other B word. And there's no Ganon's Tower. I think I said Aga Tower before. But these settings, they don't need to be Ganon's Tower. Since we're playing Fast Ganon.
That is always nice. Ganon's Tower can sometimes feel like a little bit of a drag.
It does feel nice too to just end a seed like 8 minutes faster. It looks nice on your timer. Nito's gonna have grapple before Meridia. That's interesting.
We may see Shaktul yet.
Yeah, I think Nito's still being thorough. Like, nothing stood out as being skipped. Like, there's still many locations to check. They've just happened to run into quality progression items early on. And there's our second sword. We're in the bomb hut. So we're going to expect Nito to also find that since it's across from Thieves Town.
And Akir is doing the blacksmith check. Most likely the whole chain.
Yeah, wondering about the ordering of it.
Wait, how is he going to do that without the mirror?
Gonna have to save and quit. Where are you going from here? That's a save and quit. Okay. Seems like he thought he had mirror. Oops.
Usually you do at this point in the seed, so I can understand.
I don't know. Not even halfway through the seed yet. But it's just going really fast. We could be seeing some really fast times with these seeds. But this croc play is a time investment. A couple minutes to come down here, pick up these 5 items.
Blacksmith's had the shovel.
Interesting. Unfortunately, can't combine it with Stumpy with a mirror, because no mirror.
And no powder or mushroom to do the
Grapple tech.
the powder bat. But there's
boots.
the Pegasus boots. Always very nice. That's your movement
It's
in
worth the
knowing
trip.
to the past. As well as a few specific checks, like bonk rocks.
Yeah, Nita still has a ton of Link to the Past left. All the main Dark World. So that's a lot of value in boots. Still. Locking in those boots. That's save. So I see Nito with Spring Ball and High Jump. No better way to the pantry item. So could show off the trick he was practicing before the race. Or maybe we'll get the intended grapple strats. Either way, be fun to see. That's one. Ah,
Oh, and he falls down.
okay, so here it is. High jump and spring ball to do this trick. You have to do a very early pause to get a lot of fling to your wall jump morph. You want to go very far horizontally. And then at the peak of that is when you jump. So it's a hard trick to do. But we did see him get it before the race. Of course, pausing and wall jumping at the same time is hard enough. Close. Problem with this trick is if you don't get it, you still don't get to see the item. And the space jump that Akir has was in Meridia, the watering hole. There's the power of the hammer. Smashing the Zazak. Where a Master Sword couldn't. The spring and ball jump is really hard.
Honestly, I forgot some of those Link to the Past enemies even had names.
What's fun about these randomizers is they use enemy names as the hash code. And so it's one way to like learn all the enemy names.
Ah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For SMZ3, it's using both game enemies. And I think also the race time rooms use enemy names. So we get to see the blind script. Something every experienced runner practices. If you hit blind on the same frame every time, he'll make the same movements. If you hold your sword out, it'll hit blind on the same frame. So you just practice that until you learn it. There we
when
go.
you hit him is part of the script. Oof.
Yep. But you're holding your sword out, and so he just becomes attackable while inside your sword.
Right, it just adds a layer that I did not realize.
Mm-hmm. That's why a hammer is harder. Ah,
There's
mirror.
our mirror in Cosine Cave.
This has been a pretty nice croc trip. I don't know about required, but very quality items.
It's nice to have. It'll make his blacksmith chain faster. If nothing
Yeah,
else.
routing gets a lot more efficient with mirror and with boots too.
He'll be able to make a quick check between Eastern and Darkness, Palace of Darkness.
Yeah, that's a lot of running to get to the portal and back to the dungeon. So probably between the two of them, like we can expect this is saving time with Boots and Mirror. And also, here's a book.
Once we have it, we'll only need a few more items for go mode. Bombos and Quake. And silver arrows would be nice, but not required. And then Nito will need at least one more sword, but we have seen its location on Ikir's side.
Yep. Fully expecting Nito to find that sword. At the
Speaking of
bomb hut.
Ikir, another dungeon. Skull Woods.
Yeah. So on Nito's side, I was wondering, like, how to route in the book usage efficiently. Because Skull's a pendant, and you've already been to the nearby Ether, and Bombos is by a pendant as well. But on Ikir's side, they're in the back of Skull Woods, but don't have the mirror or the book. So, book's being hard to use this seed. Of course, the book uses being the two tablets, pedestal, and desert entry.
Oh, and we'll still be needing Ice Rod as well. Nearly forgot.
The elusive ice rod. I'd still like to see nice balance play.
Another clean Kraid quick kill.
Okay. Hammering them off. It takes 4 hammer hits, but if you hit a spike, then that damage doesn't count. Fire. Oh, gets it down. Fire is a chance to double hit, and when you double hit, that almost always
And there's
deals
Plasma
damage even if they're
Beam.
on spikes.
Did Akir pick up X-Ray?
No. Akir skipped X-Ray, but they do have Charge and Plasma now.
Charge and Plasma, definitely a very powerful combo, but not quite Microwave.
No. It's already killed the Meridia bosses, but does have Fantoon left.
He does still have Fantoon left.
You have to make up the difference with skill. If Akir gets Ice Beam, then that makes for a friendly 2-round Fantoon kill, even without Microwave. Aw. Nito got the crumble jump, but then missed the wall jump after.
Nito decides to skip the bug net. Honestly, it's not actually that useful aside from meme strats against Ganon, which we won't actually be fighting because this is a fast Ganon seed anyway.
Yep, unfortunate. So I think Akir sees himself as low on like quality plays. And that's why we're seeing Pendant Skullwoods. Even Upper Norfair without Varia, it's a slow play to make. And doesn't have a bow for odd. So it doesn't have like really efficient plays right now. So we're seeing some Dark World cleanup, Ice Palace at some point. While Anito goes through Meridia.
Finding Wave Beam at Mama Turtle. I guess Akir skipped Mama Turtle.
No, Akir has the Wave Beam.
Oh, I completely missed that.
Power Bombs. A lot of digs. Nito has some movement items, but not the right ones. Still has to gravity jump. And this upper jump, I always forget where exactly you jump from to make it. But he gets
Looks
there.
like it's from right there.
That spot. I was watching him and taking notes, I guess.
He'll be finding his space jump soon enough.
Yep, charge beam and space jump. But what we don't have is a way through Batoon Hallway. So I wonder what Nito decides to do about that. That's a bit of a problem. So we got mirrorless purple chest over here on the right. This doesn't combine into anything, so I guess it combines into a Gina. But Akir's making some pretty inefficient checks at this point. Nito is making efficient checks, but hit a wall with Batoon.
Here comes the snail clip again.
This time with high jump. Also has X-ray. That's another way to make this easier. A little low. Yeah, most runners use there's a bright colored pixel on the snail, and you can try to line that up against the seam in the pipe. Find the right pixel to jump from. So that's a save for sand pits.
Yep, he's about to find out that they're pretty much empty.
Like my first thought when he saved was Crystal Flash clip, but we're not there yet. Still have sand pits to do. Plus Shack Tool. Expecting to see Shack Tool as part of this.
Yep, because he's come through with grapple. Man, wouldn't it be wild if Shack Tool had Ice Rod?
That'd be a big find for Nito. Akir be in some trouble.
True.
So as we wait for Shack Tool, Akir's gonna be setting up the Icebreaker trick. Using Cane of Samaria. You can extend your door state, walk through a Samaria block, and then continue through the wall. Or you could skip that, I guess. Sure. So we're gonna see a Ice Pal's bomb jump. I expect to, anyway. Icebreaker is worth enough
Just
time that
some health
usually you learn it.
At Shack Tool.
That's a
So
reset.
he's gonna reset that, check the other sand pit, reset it, and try and head over to Dragon. Most likely.
It depends how he's feeling. Without bombs, the Crystal Flash clip is really tough. Possible, but it might not be worth the time. He doesn't need to do this. He can just come at Dragon from the Dark World. And that seems to be the plan. Bail on Meridia. Here has to take the long trip around to get to Ice Tea. So it's tempting to just go right to the boss, skip this check. So I also think I'm noticing that Nito is staying in Super Metroid more, and Akira is staying in Link to the Past more. That might be their game preference.
Could be, but there has simply been a lot of progression in Super Metroid as well.
Yeah, that not having Variasuit is still a big factor. Because that's all Akira has left. Wreck Ship and Heat Runs. So Cold Stare, Fire Rod, and Half Magic shouldn't be a problem. But still usually have to supplement with some kind of damage. It looks like that's going to be Bombos. So we'll give plenty of Fire Rod shots for the main fight. Actually, Bombos is a required item. So, big find. No, we missed it. Bombos was the Turtle Rock medallion. And you really want that ice rod before going back up there. But with these settings, you don't need to wait for all your crystals for efficient last dungeon routing. So we might see it sooner than in other modes. Nito's on a course to climb up Red Tower into Wreck Ship play. And we know Wreck Ship is required, so that'd be another boss kill. Oh, now we're seeing Icebreaker.
Is there much left in Super Metroid after Wrecked Ship? I don't think there is, aside from backdooring Dragon.
Yeah, we've seen all of Dragon on Akira's side. Just as we've seen the Norfair on Nito's side. So it's just going to be Waterway and Ship Peeps. After Wreck Ship.
Yeah, I forgot about Waterway, but that requires Speed Booster, which we have
Yeah.
yet to see.
Can't even scout it, that speed booster. Okay. Like you're also going to be at the ship. Gonna go straight to ship peeves, I expect. And then I could also see a wreck ship play. No? Ah, skip the bomb fight. Bomb Teresa fight. I do this sometimes, and then it always has progression.
That's how things tend to go. Murphy's Law and all.
It's a nice reset. Save the run back. Because that's some slow rooms that you have to run back through. And now taking the refill for supers. I was thinking that's a good idea. They're still going to want supers for the Ridley fight coming up eventually. I think both sides were getting a Doppler fight for Fantan. So it's 19 missiles total and a super. You do 2 missiles, and then however many you can fit in per cycle. You also have to memorize the Fantoon patterns of where he opens its eye. There's 12 combinations, and you just have to memorize them all. There
Very
goes.
nice Fantoon fight. He's not very tough, honestly, just a little bit annoying with, like you said, those patterns.
It takes a ton of work to speed up your Fantoon fight.
And here comes Akir to challenge him, but this time with Charge Plasma. And Wave.
So Charge Wave Plasma, it can make for an easy 3-round. Let's see. That's 750 damage. So that's like 7 missile Doppler. Dang, it's just a charge shot. He looks ready to shoot Fantoon with some plasma. But you still want to do the 2 missile, and then a charge shot. Oh, unlucky. One of those missiles went into the next phase of the eye open.
Nito
The
took
speed
a
that
quick save before exploring the rest of Wrecked Ship, because oftentimes some of these checks quite out of the way and don't have anything. But today they might.
this check
Like
in
Ice Beam.
particular.
Ice Beam, very nice to have. Once Nito picks up Plasma, that's full beam combo. And most likely Akir will also pick that Ice Beam up. So both runners will probably have a full beam combo by the end. Makes the Metroid rooms nice and easy.
That's an enrage, Fantan. Just gotta wait this out in the corner. But
Yeah, a lot easier to just sit through with Screw Attack and Space Jump, but it is a lot of time lost, which is not fun.
they get a fast for the final round, so
Not too bad. It evens
too
out
bad.
a little bit.
Yeah. Nito did get ice now, but needed it shortly ago back in Meridia. You have to go back for Dragon later on. More hearts.
Attic was very clean with Screw Attack and Space Jump. You just kind of fly through the whole thing and it's all done.
Yeah, with Space Jump, you don't drop your speed. Like, just Screw Attack on your own, you have to reset your speed constantly. But with Space Jump, it goes fast. Spring Ball.
And it's just some more health.
That's the item
Which
in Wreck
means
Ship they couldn't
we
get.
just have bowling, and that's Wreck Ship cleared. We do also have missiles in the sky to check, though. Which is... more money, 300 though. I think
That
that's
was
the
a fast
first
check.
300 we've seen in this seed.
I think I saw one earlier on. But Akira can still use money. Hasn't done the Zora check yet. Oh, is that true? Is Akira not done flipper checks?
I don't think he has.
Just a nice region of the map for clearing out. Get five items. But they didn't get flippers super early. That was up in Hookshot Cave, Dark Death Mountain. Ooh. Going for the Wreck Shift clip through those shop blocks. So last two items in Wreck Ship. One on the Chozo statue, one at the gravity location. Super.
More supers, always nice. Until, 70, 80.
It's a super
If you end
item.
up with 80 supers, you get a little tired of it because you're probably hurting for progression at that point.
Right, so just an ice beam here. Nice to have, but not really good enough. Boss kill was the other thing they got from this Wreck Ship trip. So it did have to come here. Just
That
not
leaves
quite
just
worth the
a
time to
little
full
bit
clear.
more before SM is full cleared. So we'll probably be seeing almost exclusively A Link to the Past by Nito. Akir still has to do Norfair and find his bow, among other things.
I think I expect the croc after finding a bow. And the bow lets you do 2 full dungeons. Mostly because of the book. You don't want to just leave a book behind if you know where it is. This will be neato, done with Super Metroid for the next hour.
Most likely.
Yep. Hour 40 in now. Progression really slowed down.
Looks like he's headed straight for pod.
Yeah, with the mirror, going straight to pod. Doesn't want to do pod just yet. Take out the easy dungeon first.
Interesting. Usually you'd route pod first because you can just mirror back to Eastern. It's a little quicker.
Yeah, I think I'd call this a mistake. Losing some routing efficiency.
It's probably not too bad with the boots, though. Everything's quick with the boots.
No, it's not that costly. It's just could be faster. It's not going to affect the race in any way. Jumping right over the heart piece again. Ikir has enough hearts. So Ikir did Eastern early on, and we didn't see anything in the available chests. I didn't catch if Armos has an item or not, but got all the other checks. So pause the more interesting play, since they do have a bow to follow.
Oh no, AQ got double grabbed.
Got very eaten. I suppose this routing does work out for Akir. Clean up the red tower checks straight into Upper Norfair. Like, doesn't really need the various suit. Can just make those checks. Plus, it's hard logic, so we can expect him to want to make those checks.
Yeah, and with 9 E-tanks, hell runs are... It's almost like it's not there, except for Lower Norfair.
Yeah, it's really nice when that happens. Like, you're not really losing time, even if you don't have the suit. Yeah, at this point, we're still looking for Quake Medallion, Ice Rod, and another weapon for Ganon would be really nice. Silvers or another sword. Anita still doesn't have the Village of Outcast sword. Or the Bombos from Ice Palace.
Yep, but he'll be getting those in due time, I'm sure. There's not much to miss with those locations.
Yeah, the catfish is a lot more missable. And that's where the various suit was.
And we've seen how that affected Nito's routing.
Yep, led him to the boots and mirror early. So getting full value out of those. With this Link to the Past play now. Finding Varia
Nice,
early
quick and
is
easy.
starting to pay off now.
Armos Knights, and yep, there was an item on the Armos Knights.
So the bow was at the Speed Booster missile location. There's a book at Croc Escape that was a little interesting, and then Croc has Boots and Mirror. I don't think there's anything else up here in Bubble Mountain.
A lot of those checks will be a good bit faster for AQ though, since he has Space Jump. Mostly Croc Escape.
This looks like straight to Croc. Wonder if the thinking is for the health refill? Because he might have needed to farm health with the amount he had to do all the Bubble Mountain area checks. But with this amount of health, wouldn't have to farm at all. Okay. So he's going to find the Boots and Mirror. That's nice. The book's in a bit of an awkward spot.
I was going to say, why is AQ using missiles on Croc when he has charged plasma? But no, he used it, and that will immediately kill him. It's fun to see. He just terrified walking backwards.
Another thing that's fun to see is Nito getting the pot glitch, camera dashing into the skull pot and hitting the switch at the same time. The pot didn't disappear. Bumping into bomb walls. Save some menus. We're playing this without quick swap. For races, quick swap is disabled. Mostly by community vote.
I mostly watch SMZ3, so I honestly forgot that was a feature.
Yeah, SMZ3 gradually pulls features over from the other randomizers. And Key Sanity is the other big mode that's available to SMZ3. Then for other settings, we got reduced crystals, fast bosses.
Key Sanity with SM included just hurts my brain.
It's a very unique experience. It adds a lot of backtracking to what could be efficient routing.
AQ here getting some checks in seconds, what took a couple minutes for Nito. That space jump doing some work.
But it is important to show off the cool tricks. Don't forget.
Can't argue with that. Ooh, and bombs in pod.
A little late for bombs. Done with us.
A little bit, but it's fun to see.
So I want to see how Ikea routes this. Do you get the book and turn around? Or do you abandon Bubble Mountain with Boots and Mirror? Mirror is Swamp and all the mirror checks.
Well, for the sake of his run, I hope he continues over to speed, so he can find his bow.
Out of there.
Unfortunate. Looks like we'll be getting some. We'll probably see the book checks. Ether tablet in particular, right here.
Yeah, this being ether makes the most sense. I wouldn't be surprised if Turtle Rock has progression. We're starting to clear up most of the checks at this point.
At this point,
Hour
it does
50
look
in.
likely.
The thing is, the only thing we're looking for is Ice Rod and Quake. And if it's Ice Rod in there, then great. If it's Quake, then I guess that's good too.
I hate
Not continuing into
seeing
Turtle
Ice
Rock.
Rod in Turtle Rock because it is always last location.
Oh, mushroom. Time for fetch quests. Yeah, this screen is very close to the witch. Can just turn that in right away. I don't like doing the fake powder generally, especially not going out of your way for it.
Yeah, I wouldn't go out of my way for it, but if I was there and had what I needed, sure.
Yeah, like it's efficient to do.
In general, one-off checks tend to be inefficient.
I see a powder. Where was powder? And a flute. That's efficient. Activate flute and turn in the bat check.
Flute is going to be much easier access over to Misery Mire, as opposed to having to trek back through Lower Norfair. Of course, they need the Quake first anyway.
Once he gets the various hoot, it's also I picture it routing out where you do Lower Norfair into Upper Norfair and get the bow. Maybe we see a graveyard ledge into Catfish, into Zora checks right now. Nito briefly lost in the graveyard.
Nito finding his mushroom.
Yeah, now that we know where the flute is, this mushroom is pulling them away from the flute. It would be more efficient to pick that up first and then flute over the witch. A little funny. This is gonna be Nito's first trip to Village of Outcasts. It'll be with flute.
Grabbing some blue potions, definitely a wise decision when you have the bottles and the money.
Head check. Let's see what's on Ped. Let's see, it's Goal, Swamp, and Desert, so we could have anything. It's the gold
Increase
arrows.
Arrow storage.
Gold arrows not as strong as silver arrows. Akira hasn't seen these checks yet, so it makes sense to come here to Fire Shed. Probably dip into Desert. And that would be some new checks.
And it's incredible how quickly sometimes these runners can just peek a check. I barely saw that the medallion got on screen. The medallion symbol got on screen for Akir, but he was able to tell that it was Quake real quick.
Yeah. It helps restream that Nito took a few more moments to check. So Nito's doing the front of Skullwoods. We know that Mothula has the Plasma Beam. We know that Desert Ledge is the Ice Rod. Just now
That
finding
gets
that out.
rid of our ice rod hunt. Very nice.
Yeah, with the flute, that was easy find.
So now we're just looking for Quake.
And now it's fair to go to Turtle Rock at any point. Because that's beatable. Many items there, and you don't need to combine it with Ganon's Tower in these settings. So that's an efficient play. And I think we know that the bow doesn't lock Quake, so the Varia does not lock Quake. Like here probably finds the Quake before either of those, and has a bow go mode.
Seems likely enough. I don't think there's going to be much that that drags Akir back into SM until he finds Varia for Lower Norfair.
I guess there are still bad locations out. Could continue to miss Quake.
Or he'll
But
just
right
hell
now-
run Lower Norfair, either or.
Yeah, just show us that he can. Just wanted to peek the one screw attack item. Pop out.
I can respect that.
You can go into the GT fight and reset.
Oh, there was powder. It was
That's,
in Sea House.
Well, we've known about that for a long time.
Apparently.
Oh well. We noticed just in time for the bat check. That's all that matters.
And finally, nearly 2 hours in, Nito has his second sword. After having his third shield about an hour in.
Just hasn't needed it.
Not when you're a
Decided now
runner
he
of
wants
his
another
caliber.
sword. Yep. Stack defense points. Then worry about offense. So as we hit the 2-hour mark, you're watching the SMZ3 weekly race. Featured runners are Nito and Akir. Veteran runners of the mode. And our settings today are... it's hard logic with 7 crystals required and 4 boss tokens required. The seeds started off pretty fast and definitely slowed down over the past hour, but now we're starting to pick up again as we enter the end game. where they can think about start clearing the final dungeons.
Well, as far as final dungeons go, Akir is in Turtle Rock. And I believe he can complete it, but he can't check Mimic Cave because he doesn't have the bow. No, you can do that with Hammer.
Yep. Those are green mimics. Easy to confuse them with enemies that require bow, especially in Randomizer. Oh, there we go. Now you're allowed to follow the runners. Nito and Akir. Now that the bot is back. You can also follow commentators. Yeah, Mythius?
Diametheus, yes.
Diametheus. And Raylan. Doing a great job. Both of them. So on Nito's side, we're going to be seeing stuff we've already seen. Akir's been through Village of Outcasts a long time ago, and did most of the checks without the mirror. So it's the mirror checks that'll be interesting on Nito's side. And on Akir's side, all this dungeon is new. And we're past the front where the keys are stored. So expecting to start finding items.
Except that one,
scripted
that was
fight.
another key.
Yeah, they're everywhere. But you think you're done with keys, and then you start finding the map and compass. And it's a map. So we have 7 bosses on Nito's side.
And here comes the Mimic Cave check.
And 6 bosses plus a pendant on Akir's side. Just now activating the flute. Salute the flute. Very efficient.
Mimic Cave, just a
flute
little bit
timing.
more health.
Akir's been trying to skip hearts, but the game keeps giving them to him.
Sometimes what the game wants, the game will have, and you have to live with it. And today, that seems to be health.
Now we're getting Waterfall Fairy. I think this is still a new check.
Yeah, I think Akir still hasn't been up to Zora, so...
Okay. Nothing here. Like, these flipper checks seem early game, but they didn't actually get flippers until the entire world was open. It's understandable to put it off. And there's nothing here.
Here comes Ice Palace for Nito, though. He'll be finding his bombos shortly.
Slashing the berries. Berries are some of the worst enemies. Blueberries.
I always just
usually
called
okay.
them jellyfish.
taken a liking to calling them blueberries.
Okay, you're having a little bit of trouble with Laser Bridge. It appears that not much is there.
Oh, no mirror shield. It's one of the places mirror shield saves time.
And here comes the Trinex battle.
It's a quick icebreaker from Nita. Takes some pixel perfect movements to do that. This is Master Sword Trinex, so we're going to use Hammer instead. Because that's more efficient damage, because you do the damage faster. It's 5 hammer hits total. But pyro shots contribute to that. Slashes too.
And a few spin attacks to finish it off before the hammer finishes finishing it off.
Being a little eaten.
A little bit, but
Good
it's not
fight.
too big a deal because he has red mail and 11 hearts.
Ah. So that's our no mode. Quake Medallion on Trinex. Pretty unmissable.
Definitely a solid play by Akir. Now he just has to find various suit.
That makes Nito's route look pretty clean from here. Like here's Bombos and Ice-T. Just needs to flute to desert, but doesn't have much incentive to. But it is a really quick check. So we'll see when that happens.
He'll most, yeah, I think he'll most likely route at least some of desert in with heading back to. Wait, no, I'm thinking of the wrong portal. Meridia portal's on the other side of the map.
Yep.
That's the lower Norfair portal.
He's so close to the Meridia portal, but can't take it from here. Yeah, I guess for Nito,
just
the
like
worst.
here, using bombos to start the fight, and the fire rod to finish it against Cold Stare.
You got a couple of Master Sword swings in. Their damage isn't great against the buffs. Fire Rod is like 4 times the damage of Master Sword swings. And splashes. But still, fast fight. So if Nito flutes to desert, then he's in a great place in the race. Because then he'd have a beatable Turtle Rock, and that's going to have the go mode Quake. Kier needs the bow, and that's in Upper Norfair. So it's reachable.
I think Nito's heading for the blacksmith chain instead, or did he already do that?
This could be that you do dig game
Digging
first,
game.
since you can't carry the blacksmith over to the dig game. So
Right.
it could just be doing that pile of checks. Yeah, Akir needs bow out of the speed booster missiles location, and Varia's on Catfish. And we don't know if Akir wants to try skipping Varia or not. But finding Varia is going to help lead right into that bow on the Lornor Fair Escape.
"26 digs for Nito."
Still better than Vanilla.
Yeah, Vanilla started at 30, right?
It's something like that. It starts at a high number, and it's not even guaranteed.
Hammer boots combo, always fun to see. Just slide across these pegs.
Hmm. Since it's been mentioned in chat, Nito's route leads very cleanly into Swamp Palace. Like you, Smith Chain to Purple Chest, Bombo's Tablet, and then you're at the swamp front door. That'd be unfortunate. Probably get a sword though. Swamp always has swords.
It's always Swamp and GT. Swamp could also have Speed Booster, which it would be unfortunate if that pointed him back towards Waterway.
Yeah, that'd be some commitment to the play to follow Speed Booster before checking Desert Ledge. I'm getting some Master Sword strats on Vitreous here. Could pull out. No, it doesn't have the bow.
Yeah, he
That's
still
like the
doesn't
bow.
have the bow, so he still doesn't get the easy way out.
Yeah. So it doesn't take too long. Yeah, Speed Booster, swords, and silvers are the nice to have items we're looking for.
And with just Eastern and Ridley to go for A cure, he's probably getting a little anxious about not having that bow.
Yeah, Kira's done Eastern, so I'd be thinking about a pod dive. I saw him do this in Ice Palace too. Go to the boss and then come back in for the rest of the items. It saves time if it works, I guess. But does have to re-clear some of these rooms. Yeah, we're in no mode. The runners are, let's say 2 items from go each. I don't think Akir really wants to skip Varia. But we have a bow at the Speed Booster missile location. Varia's on Catfish. We have Ice Rod on Desert Ledge. Nito's on the same screen, but can't quite see it. Oh, Speed Booster.
Oh, hey, there's speed.
There's a distraction. And then Quake is on Trinex. Quake being our Meyer medallion. Looks like he's doing it. Nito's route also leads into Dragon, but it's hard to pass up Swamp Palace while you're here.
Yeah, it's fairly dense and doesn't even need to. You don't even need to find the big key to get all the way through it.
Which is really unfortunate how fast to check the desert ledge is. Just not finding the time for it. Okay, so here's flipper checks from Akira. But not going to catfish and then mirroring. That would have been one way to get the catfish check. Probably just committed to skipping it then. So for Nito, like what plays does he have available? Like Dive Turtle Rock without Ice Rod. Pendant Swamp is a ton of items. Pendant Moth is one item. And Desert. So Swamp is just the densest play. Plus it's Green Pendant.
Yeah, a whole 6 items plus green pendant. We've seen one of them, and it was just arrows.
Okay, here is cleaning up mirror checks. I can see this also leading into Swamp. Yeah, still need 2 items, so it makes sense to do a full clear route. That means we're gonna get to see a diver down. So have a bomb here to hit the switch the next time you visit the screen, which will be in the water. You clip a little bit into the corner here. Slide along the block. By holding your sword out, it makes your vertical direction, I think, 0. But you can still move horizontally. So you just move enough in that you can jump over the ledge. That saves about 10 seconds. I think that's what I timed it to. Okay, so they're going to be even on number of Swamp Palaces completed.
It definitely seems like an obvious play, even though it happens to be incorrect this time.
It's just going to feel really bad knowing that it's Desert Ledge. A catfish, completely reasonable to isolate. Although, I don't know how we'll feel about that bow location, since Akir's already been to Bubble Mountain area. Decided to skip right to Croc checks, which just paid out a little too well with Boots and Mirror. a second diver down. You can do it with a Samaria block or a bomb explosion.
There's the big key and an item. That's 5 out of 6 items.
We have an awkward big key location.
Ooh, silver arrows though. I'd say that's worth it.
It's something. They needed something from this trip.
Especially if they only stay with the 2 swords. Master Sword is going to save quite a bit of time on Ganon.
Yeah, see, it's been light on swords. They have enough.
Probably both in GT.
It's looking like it now. Yeah, there's not too much we haven't seen. Other than GT. Master Sword Argus fight. Seems like it should go fast, but pretty slow. This Master Sword isn't the best at killing the pops, unlike the Tempered Sword, which can one-shot them.
Silver arrows, though, counterbalancing.
There's that last mystery item, green pendant.
And they've found all 6 items in the dungeon, so he doesn't need to go back in for the big chest.
A mirror. So a flute to where? This to turning green pendant? Yep. I think flute to 5 is faster. But not by much. Most of the time when something's said to be faster, it's just a handful of seconds. And we're here for a 3-hour race. Probably not 3 hours. In this seed. I get most of the bosses
Not
in.
quite, but it'll be close. He's probably about to flute to... oh no, back to here.
Yeah, this will be the Dragon cleanup.
Ah.
But it was possible to flute to the desert ledge just for that one check. It's more efficient to do desert and checkerboard with that, so you want to group it together.
Absolutely.
Nito has Dragon and Plasma, as well as Botuni Tank Precious. Those were all nothing. Kier probably goes into pod off of this, actually. With that green pendant. I think that makes a lot of sense. Let's see. Looks like Eastern and Meyer are the red crystals. So neither is that set complete yet. Ice Rod Strats, well done. It's harder than Fire Rod Strats. And harder than Silvers.
Yeah, the ice rod projectile is a little bit slow.
Yeah. Then you're always like you get yourself used to using the Fire Rod. It just has a different speed than Ice Rod. Here's that Dragon cleanup. Did the from ready, but didn't have a way through Batoon hallway, so I had to leave. Just
Nito
getting back
does
to it
have
now.
speed booster for this, so he might be able to make fairly quick work of Dragon by shine sparking into him.
You can do some Spazer X-rays, Spazer microwave. Missile kill.
No,
Ah,
he's going for
grapple
the
kill.
grapple. And not quite the
Aw.
quick.
Slightly too high. Yeah, with grapple kill, your initial damage doesn't speed up the fight hardly at all. But yeah, grapple is the best way to kill Dragon in this situation.
Fried shrimp tonight.
Great blackout of SMZ3 getting an item from Dragon.
Meanwhile, just as you predicted, Acure over in pod.
Let's see, pod. That's up to 5 items. Bubble Mountain is 3, 2, 2, 7. But it is more of a trip to get to Bubble Mountain. Plus, you probably assume that Nito's done those checks by now. I guess in this point of the seed, you're expecting your opponent has made all the right checks by now. Because the seed started off really fast, so like everything was open. You just happened to not pick the right path. But they're both like fairly close to each other.
Yeah, trying to think about where the other runner might be, if that is on your mind, is always tricky because you don't know if they missed something. You can't assume they missed something, but sometimes it seems like, well, if they got all this that I did, I wonder where they are. Have they found something else?
It's definitely easy to think your opponent is routing perfectly.
You know, it's that sort of expect the worst, hope for the best mentality.
True. Ah. Nito is passing on plasma. Did time save there? Plasma is still a very slow check. It's one of the slowest checks in the game. Meanwhile, Meyer area is efficient checks. Time for front of escape, 2.5 hours. Oh. I missed the plasma check. Nito hasn't been skipping checks, really. Been pretty thorough on his clears.
He usually doesn't, from what I can remember.
You're heading north. Pyramid Ferry into Catfish. Looks like the plan. And with that Variasuit, I expect to see Lower Norfair, and then right after Lower Norfair, find that bow at Bubble Mountain. Yeah,
Just
Graveyard
a slight
Ledge first.
correction. You mentioned Pyramid Ferry, but he won't be. I don't think Pyramid Ferry will be checked because that requires Eastern Palace,
Right.
which is behind the bow, which will be go mode anyway. Or for
for
Nito's
both
side,
runners.
it's behind Meyer, which will most likely be his go mode, since Quake is in Turtle Rock, so he just needs Ice Rod for that.
No Pyramid Ferry today.
But the Pyramid Ledge was absolutely checked and was just a piece of heart.
That's it for From Escape for Nito. You're about to find the Variasuit at Catfish. Where is he going?
Finally, the desert check. And he's probably a little bit mad about that.
Yeah, probably.
And finally, Catfish as well at the same time.
At the same time. Now they're both one item away from go mode. And those items are on a pretty clean path for both of them. But they don't lead to swords. So it's looking like a
I think it's a
Master Sword
little
Silver's
cleaner
finish.
for Nito than Akir, because for Akir, Variasuit means lower Norfair, but the bow is an upper. He'll have to revisit that. Whereas Turtle Rock is just going to be one clean sweep for Nito.
Lower Norfair is generally a straight clear, but each check that you're making is a side room for the most part. And definitely gonna add more time than the extra checks Nito makes in Turtle Rock. Full beam for GT and Ridley, so it doesn't have to worry about farming at all. It does want to crouch here though, so that the charge shots will double hit GT. Or you can jump and shoot down if you don't have angle down bound.
I love how the Golden Chorizo fight looks with the full beam combo. If you get the cheese setup.
Certainly speeds up the fight. And feels nice to get double hits. So, Lower Norfair, a rather long, quote-unquote, dungeon. Turtle Rock is also long, but less so. At least I estimate. So the big difference is the pod clear, but that's against a Meyer clear. So maybe they're not so far apart. So Nito has Ridley done and Pod done. Akir has Meyer done and Turtle Rock. Oh, and Eastern as well. Eastern's gonna add another few minutes. Like, Eastern's a pretty fast clear, but we're pretty much heading towards the end of the seed right now, the end of the race. So now every minute matters.
Yeah, and it feels like Eastern is kind of the bigger question mark because it's entirely dependent on when Akir can find that bow.
Like, I fully expect the bow pickup to be like you leave Lorne Orfair, check wave beam, and then check speed checks. It'd be strange if that's not what happens.
We'll
Has
see.
enough supers to just shoot down the metal pirates. So, Kira also going for the 30 super fight, which is the fastest way to do the fight. Getting great damage in here on the safe spot. Took a hit while rolling under. That messed up the minute. But very fast.
And
kill.
he's dead.
Got some really nice damage in during that left pogo. Nito had a bit more trouble getting the damage in while pogoing. Fell in the acid a few times. So this is Akir halfway through Lorne Orfair, as Nito is about halfway through Turtle Rock. How about that? And
Yeah,
Mimic Cave is the biggest go mode difference location for Turtle Rock.
It's crazy how someone will build up such an apparent lead, and then it turns out that no, actually they were pretty close the whole time. The wonders of Rando.
Yeah, like it definitely feels like I can call a leader, and then it's just not the case once we get a little later into the seed.
One thing was all the while Nito was grabbing all of those progression items, Akir was still beating dungeons while that happened. So it's not like his probably less efficient route had nothing going on. It may be efficient yet.
Mirror shield value on the laser bridge. Mirror shield, the item you get in this dungeon for this purpose.
Only to find out that Laser Bridge is a scam.
Akir might be thinking about the Shack Tool scam right now, but he'll be getting bow first. Even on this last item pickup, they're really close to each other. This go mode item. If only
Nito
if you're
elects
new to go to
use his
speed
hammer
first.
instead of the sword to make things quicker.
Hammer has a smaller hitbox though, and he actually missed one of those hits. Use sword swings to finish it off because you can't pause while the heads are exploding. So he did a pre-pause to switch rods and then killed with sword. Also getting a little eaten on the ice.
And again, switching to his hammer for the extra damage.
There it is. Go mode for Neaterific at 2 hours 41.
Akir finally in the speed area, and he will have go mode at almost 2:42. Only about 20 seconds later.
Just call it. Also at 2:41. Tied race to the minute.
Doesn't even pick up the item on speed booster because he realizes he's in go mode. And the race is on.
Has a full tracker too. Swords could be upgraded, but it looks full. So Akira still has to get out of Norfair and then finish off Pod and Eastern. And he's already cleared most of both of those. So has the big key and all that. Nito needs to look for the big key in Mire, but is already in the dungeon. Looks like a lead for Neaterific. Nike got 2 fairies and bottles in preparation for this Ganon fight. Nito has 2 blue potions, so they're set.
Honestly, I doubt either of them will use either of those.
The only danger is that it is a Master Sword fight. Anything can happen when you're bouncing
they
around.
might decide to face tank a little to try and make that a little quicker.
I know I like to use Cape for the second phase, and could end up draining like a full magic bar with that. So maybe potions could come into play. But they don't need much magic for the final phase with silver arrows. Zero keys. I think that's a problem. Yeah, Akira actually has to do the bow lock side of Pod just for a small key.
And Nito has found the big key for Mire. Just has to rush it to the boss and get out. Was that the vanilla boss key location for Mire?
No, that was the... It was the torches chest. Was that... Is that where the compass is?
It's been so long, I don't really remember, apparently.
Well, I only know because of spoiler races.
Yeah, you have to know the names of item locations a little more for that.
Occasionally we get SMZ3 spoiler races, but I feel like that's fallen out of interest.
Once in a blue moon. I don't think I've seen one actually at all.
I know we were doing them a little more regularly when the idea was new.
Exceedingly quick fight against that boss because of silver arrows.
Optimal.
Optimal indeed.
So leaving Meyer here, Nito's going to go straight to the pyramid. And you want to take the portal at 5 for that. Playing fast Ganon, so straight to Ganon. Fast. And yeah, it'd be a close race if Akira didn't have to also do Eastern. Because Helmasaur is down, and this is the closer dungeon to Ganon. So we do get to see their Master Sword rats. It is something you have to work on. Fighting with Ganon with Master Sword. Getting some nice double hits here against the wall. That's a great position for Ganon. Oh, that's another wall.
Yep. Fairly standard.
Or to fire bats. You can see him trading magic for damage with that invincibility cape. And taking hits doesn't really matter because 2 blue potions. We're into phase 3.
I'm already proven wrong. He does take one of the potions. You of course need at least some magic to deal with the lanterns in the next phase.
Yep. Lamp with half magic. It only takes a pixel, but you do need that pixel.
And he gets the torch glitch. Very nice.
It's harder to get multiple silver hits with Master Sword because spins are going to knock you away before you can shoot.
But there's Ganon down, single G's in chat.
250. Should still see a sub 3 from here. Making a quick stop, looking for a sword. A sword would save minutes. Not. It makes it
It
a
would
lot more
save some pretty
comfy.
good time, but I don't think it would save enough.
No, certainly not enough to catch up. So is Nito Interestorian. We get to watch Akira's master sword fight. See, it's 12 and 12, and then 4 is the number of spins. So you're going to want to try to get double hits. And the first phase is by bouncing off the trident or the wall, where the wall keeps you from moving. You could also use a Samaria block, but that creates a bunch of lag. There's Morph Bomb value, knocking off the Metroids.
And with Nito's super count, he can just kind of ignore some of these drops.
Like, certainly has enough ammo, doesn't even need to use Charge Beam anywhere.
You could just
Pretty
about
clean.
use supers on the Zebetite, Mother Brain 1 and 2 and still have enough. If he got,
Pretty
not quite,
clean
if he had a
Metroid
little
runs.
more. But we're most likely to see Zeb skip anyway.
But before that, we have possibly Baby Skip.
He's damaging down on the side hopper, so I don't think so.
Yeah, it
Nope.
doesn't look like it.
Gets the baby all the way to the left side, though, and still faces right.
That's a Ganon down for Akira. G's in chat. Looks like 3 minutes behind. Yep. Baby Skip, very hard trick. You really gotta put in the work to learn it. Most of the other tricks in the game don't take nearly as much time. But Baby Skip's a big one. Going for Speed Skip. Good start. Oh, maybe
Not
not.
quite.
Yeah, just gonna missile all the way through. Does have the ammo. There are options for when you miss the speed skip. Could go straight into the regular ice skip. Could go for the spring ball skip, as it's called, off the second zip type. It just shoots all the way through.
Did that turret just snipe 2 of his missiles?
So funny thing about the turrets, they leave behind a little dust particle when they hit something.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what I saw.
It's just a magic pixel that eats your missiles. Pretty annoying.
It'll knock Samus around too, which is also annoying.
Oh. Getting some RBO strats, I guess. I think this is for damaging down for the baby Metroid on Akira's side. No
Looks
stand
like
up.
we will not be seeing a stand up by Nito.
No reason to.
Yeah, not without plasma.
Here decided the damage down enough. Getting fully grabbed in this Metroid's 4 room. Could have been close to lethal. Oh, damaging down off the big hoppers even. Metroids do more damage when you have various hit off. And that includes the baby Metroid here. That's probably the idea of turning off both suits.
Meanwhile, for Nito, jellyfish is helping. Yes.
Yep. 2 jellyfish at the same time.
Akir's jellyfish isn't helping yet, though.
Yeah, Akira's jellyfish wondering what Samus was doing. Just running into hoppers before they met.
Blink and you'll miss it, Mother Brain 4.
Yep, that's the fight.
And here comes the escape sequence.
Oh no. Someone set a bomb. Gotta get out of there. Don't want to do that, Nino. It's a bad door.
I believe the text in the original Metroid was "Time bomb set, get out fast."
It fits.
Concise and it works, I suppose.
Fortunately, a bit of trouble with the Zeb skip for Akira's side. I get through. Sometimes it's just finicky.
He can feel free to prove me wrong, but I doubt Nito will be saving the animals.
It's just not fast to save the animals, and we got to get out fast.
Akir electing to use the beam combo instead of supers against Mother Brain because it's faster. But that is GG for Nito at 259.
GG's to Nito. We have ourselves a winner of the race. So that's first on Restream, second overall. We had Vinter take the top spot with a time of 2:50.
Hello.
Howdy.
So how
How's it
cringe?
going?
I'm alright. A bit tilted about the location of Ice Rod, but you know, it's what I get for voting.
So we saw you do the portal trick outside of Swamp when you turned in the green pendant.
Yeah.
You could do the same thing with Desert, but it's just less efficient to do that.
I know. I just figured it was either in Swamp or whatever I had left of Meridia. That was a bad call. Should have scouted first. Cost nothing, like 20 seconds, especially with flute. But That's that.
Yeah, it is what it is. Like Swamp's a great play in isolation.
Well, I got silvers out of it, so it saved me from a catastrophic Ganon fight because I wasn't feeling it doing Master Sword silverless.
Yeah, and that fight goes really slow. So like saves minutes to have those silvers. Makes up for some of the time from Swamp.
Yeah. Where was Plasma?
Plasma
wanted
was
it.
on
Mothula.
Mothula.
Well, at the point I would have considered doing Moth, it was not worth it. Just for Plasma, yeah.
Yeah, Ken did Moth kind of early on.
Oh, okay, so it paid off. I mean, Plasma paid off for a bit.
Yeah, you missed Varia for a very long time. And so put off like Croc and didn't have Bow until Go mode.
What did a Croc have? I forget. Oh, book.
Some nice stuff.
I don't even remember. I just remember doing the spring wall jump to get some supers out of it, but...
Yeah, Croc had the boots and the mirror.
Oh, the mirror. I really, really didn't like finding the mirror. I was hoping it would be mirrorless. But then, you know, that put Swamp in play. Did any mirror check have anything? I don't think so. Wildlife for silvers in Swamp. It's not really something, huh?
Yeah, not really. He got you to Ice Rod faster. But
Yes.
really
Yes. Faster than the cutscene.
Yeah, it makes a few things faster.
Overall,
really great route throughout the seed. Just
I thought so too until Swamp.
Yeah,
But
Swamp.
yeah, but it's. I think it's just in hindsight. I would say that's a bad play. At the moment, it felt all right. With the biggest concentration of items left, and Mirror would have to have something eventually, right? GGI here.
Yeah, GGI Kier hitting the ship at. Yeah, it's a 30305. Want to make sure to read from the race time room. GGI Kier.
Thank you. GG Terrific.
GG.
Okay. Put on a good race here, both of you. Pretty close finish.
I figured we would have different paths. Because when I found Various super light, I don't think he's gonna make that play quite yet. When he has all the rest of the Dark World.
Nope, I did not make that play early. I made it really late, actually, before I got Bow.
I got Bow and took the scenic route to Lower Norfair after that.
Yeah, it just made sense. I did Crocomire area, and then there was Mirror and Boots there, and I thought there was something.
Book at his escape.
And the book and the escape. So yeah, like 3 things. Like, okay, there's not gonna be anything in the top part. Jokes on me. Yeah, I get that Bow earlier than I just do the pod route and I check catfish on the way and almost.
Well, I only went up because it was fast Ganon and said progression on Pyramid Ledge would be very trolly here.
yeah, it would.
So I just kept going and checked catfish.
Yeah,
Then I went to Dark Death Mountain, well, all of Death Mountain, and I got my gravity and everything else. I'm like, well, time to hit Super Metroid for an hour or two.
Oh, so you did that before you did the mountain. Interesting. Okay.
I did the mountain just after. Like, I got my Various, saved and quit, went to the mountain, got the gravity there. I think that's where gravity was, right? I think so.
I want to say yes.
Paradox Cave.
I want to say yeah.
So boat suits.
I did the
only
mountain
had-
play early. As soon as I got myths, I did full mountain. Except for Trouble
I did-
Rock, because I didn't have entrance to it. I came back
I-
later.
Always do Hype Cave first. Then I choose left or up. I went up.
Made sense. I think I just came out of that entrance up there. And just decided to
Yeah,
go
I
there.
came out of there.
I don't remember where myths were now. Seems are a
Yeah.
blur after this long.
I had already done 230 missiles and Bomb
that's what
30s, so
right.
so when I climbed back up the escape, I just went straight in the portal and went through the Hype Cave.
That makes sense. Yeah, I came out there too, and I stayed quit and went to the mountain. Because myths pull clear. Myths and Hammer, I could pull clear the mountain except for Trouble Rock. And I did. And got the gravity, and so chased all the gravity stuff.
You find speed? Yes, you did.
I found speed and it's silvers. Yes.
All right.
It was around after Mountain where you kind of had big divergence. Curia started with gravity checks, and Nito did all the various stuff, and just stayed in Super Metroid for a lot longer, having both suits. Found all the progression there. Akira did the Link to the Past stuff, so it felt like you were focusing more on different games. And then what was really neat is how near the end, where it came together, you were both 2 items from Go mode, and you both got them at the exact same time. So it was Ice Rod and various.
Wait. Oh, right.
And so you got both of those at the same time. And then even later, the Quake and Bow were picked up at the same time too. So that was really
Wow.
exciting to see.
2 different Gomos. 2 yeah, simultaneous pickups. That's great for Restream. Love it.
From different routes, yeah.
Yeah, so the big difference in the final minutes was just that Eastern clear. So you're about an Eastern clear apart in your final times.
Because you only had to do Meyer, and I had to do both Pod Eastern. Yeah.
Yeah, the go modes were about 20 seconds apart.
Oh, well, that's good for Restream.
It was fantastic for Restream.
I don't remember if front speed booster now. Silvers were in Swamp.
As a speed booster was Bombos.
Bombos, okay.
When I found it, I was like, uh-oh.
It's like,
Is there
okay,
something
speed
a waterway?
way back, but then I found Varia, so I didn't need to go back. So I could just go right to Ridley. I was hoping both would be a Ridley escape and it'd be a late thing.
That was just... would have been handy earlier. I would have had... No, I... Yes,
only a master,
GT.
okay. I'm guessing
Yes,
that
no.
also. I was gonna feel really bad if I just left a sword right next to Bo, because I got the bow when the door and then left.
Is there a sword on ped? Did you check ped?
I did check Peg because I think I had access to like all the pendant dungeons at that point.
Yes.
Since I came out of Crocomire. So I did the boots, got the flute, turned in powder, checked pedestal, and it was an arrow upgrade, I think. Nothing important.
Mirror was such a hard... I was baited hard by Mirror.
Well, like doing the checks for everything.
All the swamp.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, you both needed different things, but ended up going to Swamp. It just evened out as far as the restream goes, the race goes. Good content.
Yeah. Well, thanks for commentating, Ozzy, and thanks for tracking, and thanks for the restream.
Yeah,
GG.
definitely. Thank you for the opportunity to be here, and thanks, Ossie, and what the other commentator's name? Sorry on that. Diametheus.
Yes.
Yeah, thanks for taking care of the tracking.
Yeah, no problem. It was a blast.
Big thanks to both of you. Nito and Akira for putting on a great race. Showing off the weekly SMZ3. A great show. And guess that's all we have for today. Tune in on the Speed Gaming Network. We do weekly races about 4 times a week now, and some of them get restreamed, some of them don't. But if you're interested in Super Metroid, link to the past content, here's a good place to check it out, as well as these runners' streams. So yeah, give them a follow. We need more SMZ3. I think that's it for us. See you next mission.